Hello and welcome to yet another edition of the Spotlight, bringing to you a story that ignites change. Now, a few days ago, the ESG Summit for the year 2024 was organized by the Colombo University's MBA Alumni Association. Now, today we have with us in our studios the president of the association, Mrs. Suraj Radampola, and the chair of the summit, Mrs. Pavithra Samarasinghe, and Aadhil Azeez, manager business development from Neptune Papers Pvt Ltd. So thank you for joining us today and welcome to the studios.
Thank you for having us. Okay.
All right, so getting into our question, I will first ask you, Suraj. Let's talk about the history of the Alumni Association. There's a lot of history. We were talking about it off air as well. Let's start off where the Alumni Association started. How did it all begin, the journey?
Mariela MBA Alumni Association is one of the largest alumni association in the country. We started in 1997 with several individuals. Now we have grown up to 900 members in the country, not only the country, across the world. We have few objectives. One objective is ensuring the professional well-being and the sustainability of our members. Secondly, to giving back to the society and to the university and to the faculty and the students. Thirdly, also creating a political platforms, not political platforms, a political platforms to discuss about the current topics, burning issues in the country, like we did few days ago ESG. The Pavithra will explain more about ESG in few seconds, and also we will organize not only the forums like this, we are organizing entertainment events, networking events for our members. We do have separate groups, entertainment groups, member engagement groups, subcommittees for those. The purpose of these groups are bringing our members on board and to a single platform to let them to network.
Yeah.
During these programs, during these events, they are getting a chance to associate with their batchmates, taking time with their friends, and also they will get a chance to have new friends. Those kind of chances they will get. And also we organize variety of forums, webinars, seminars, online events, breakfast forums, and also evening forums. The whole purpose of doing these forums is to remain our MBA alumni members as well as the students of the faculty and the general publics, their knowledge remain cutting edge with the changes of these technological changes and the global level changes. Those are the things basically we are doing as an alumni, as a snapshot.
Now, the ESG Summit, Pavithra, took place a few days ago, and it was actually a tremendous success. So, congratulations on that. So, what was the reason to you all had your recent AGM also just a few months, and I believe this would have been one of the first major projects of the association. What was the reason to start with such an important project on this scale? I think the President Ranil Wickremesinghe also attended the occasion as a chief guest. So let's talk a little bit about the summit.
Well, ESG per se, if you look at the topic, that's a matrix which measure the impact the organizations make on the environment as well as on the society. So as an association, like Suraj mentioned before, we act very responsibly. So we take topics which are really relevant to the business community, to the nation, as well as for the well-being of the entire planet. So going in that aspect, what we thought was 3 years ago. So this year we had the ESG Summit for the third consecutive year.
Right.
So meaning we have done two events before, so this is the third one. And why we thought we should focus in areas of that nature is because we would need the planet not only for our existence and not only for our businesses but for future generations. So that's because of that main reason, as Suraj explained, the association is there not only to look at business propositions or to advocate on areas where you need commercial sense or commercial decisions only, but then we have to look at the impact what we make on the environment, because in the longer run all the businesses would see the consequences. They will have to face the consequences if you do not take care of the environment well. So we are having understood that. That's where I think we are coming from, and why we thought we should have it for the third consecutive year this time.
Yes, and now moving on to a question to you, Aadhil.
Yes.
The Neptune Papers Pvt Ltd, your company won this year's award, the MSME ESG Award. What do you think was the reason for this win?
I think more than anything, what impressed us was to see there was an award for a category like ESG, which is not much talked about, especially in a country like Sri Lanka. So we just won the presidential awards in June, and this award came timely. So we thought, why not ESG, so that we could create awareness. So it's awarding bodies like this that allows companies like us also to go and push the boundaries to raise that awareness that there are certain principles that the organizations needs to commit to. Just like how Pavithra said, that more than the commercial sense of it, it's the overall picture that you need to look at. As you see, ESG commits on environmental, social and governance part of it. So for Neptune, of course, it's a company that has been primarily doing waste management solutions for other companies. So we become a stakeholder, or rather a partner for other manufacturing industries too, which helps them also to give commitment towards ESG. So we thought, why not us to be the first, so that we set an example so that people could follow us. So it was interesting, and I should really appreciate the MBA alumni for choosing a base of ESG for an awarding. For this was the first time that we came across one, and I'm glad that we were the first ones to have it won.
So when was the company established? Let's hear a bit of some history of Neptune.
So basically, Neptune Recyclers comes under a group called Aberdeen Holdings, and we are a subsidiary to a listed company called Expac Corrugated Cartons, which is a carbon neutral company. So the whole idea of Neptune forming was after the corrugated manufacturing company formed its operations, they manufactured a lot of cartons and they generated a lot of waste. So the whole idea came, what are we going to do with the waste? So they formed up Neptune Recyclers to be the recycling partners as a subsidiary. And then going down the line, we thought, why not just for Expac, but for the entire country, where there's so many manufacturing industries, and what would they be doing for the disposal of their waste? So that's when we came into the whole picture in 1994, and we completed 30 years last year. And we did a lot of celebrations on that, and that's when we took a pledge on ESG too, which actually managed us to win this award, because we had timely done that, and we've done a lot of efforts on that, and this came in timely, so it managed us to prepare for the journey and for the award as well.
Definitely. Now, Suraj, correct me if I'm wrong on this. I believe you are the youngest president of the Alumni Association?
Yes, in the alumni history, as far as I know, I'm the youngest president.
So how do you, it's just, so now in the Alumni Association, you just don't have one age category, Pavithra and Suraj. You deal with people of various age categories, different businesses, just, diverting a little out of the topic. How do you strike that balance?
Yeah, when it comes to MBA Alumni Association, it has diverse talent of people. For example, when it comes to the corporate level, it has the people who are in different fields, different industries, as well as different caliber of people. When it comes to demographic level, it's a different demographic level. It's very open organization, association. Everybody can join and enjoy. If you completed MBA from Colombo University as MBA graduate, then you can join our association. Association is free and open. If you have the talent, if you have the ability, then you can go up the ladder inside the association, and it's free. Nobody is pushing, nobody is pulling, right? It's free. My passion is, I believe that I have some kind of skills to work with the people. I believe that I should apply this to do something to the society. That's what I had. So I believe that MBA Alumni Association is one of the best place for do it. So MBA Alumni Association is doing great things to the country, to the society. That's what I heard. I can still remember the very first day when I joined to the inauguration program at BMICH for MBA inauguration. One of the representatives from MBA alumni came and explained about their duties, their programs. Then I'm very happy about MBA alumni. I never had a thought of being a president of the MBA alumni. I just had a thought of one day I should join this alumni and do something to the country and the society. That's what I had
So
at
back
that
then
day.
you didn't have that feeling, I will be the president one day. of
I
the
never had that
association,
feeling. I never had that feeling. I just joined to work with the people.
Yeah,
I network with the people. That's what I had.
definitely. And I've seen the leadership skills. It's pretty amazing to have young, people from the younger generation also coming in to lead people, to bring in more innovative thoughts.
The one thing I
Yeah.
would like to mention, I'm not sure whether you believe or not, the
Yeah.
eldest member of our association, can you guess
The
the age of our eldest member?
around
our
90?
Close to 90.
Right.
He's still working the committee.
Wow.
I think, do I know
That's
the
why
person?
that's why I'm saying that we
Yeah.
have this association is open for everybody to come and work.
Definitely.
There is no any age barrier, no any politics inside the association. Everybody can work in a peaceful manner.
Definitely. So, Pavithra, let's talk a little more about this summit. There was a range of coverage on this summit as well, on many news reports. The president attended and many key stakeholders attended, many leading businessmen. There was many panel discussions involved. Let's talk a little bit about the run-up of the summit. What was discussed? Who were the main personalities that were featured in the summit?
The summit, we had about 4 technical sessions apart from the inauguration. So we started with the inauguration, to which Honorable President graced the occasion there. And then soon after the inauguration, we had a technical session which is on environment. So the environment session, the keynote was done by Dr. Ananda Malvatantri, where we covered few areas like sustainable agriculture, sustainable transportation, renewable energy, waste management, few topics which we really see is a burning issue, or rather topics that we should prioritize or focus on more. Because for example, Sri Lanka is an agricultural country, but we do not produce enough to be self-sufficient. So how do we look at it? So how do we feed 22 million people in this country in a sustainable manner? So those are the things which we were looking at, and the panel, we had an eminent panel. We had an eminent panel including Dr. Buddhimarabe. So at that caliber, the people spoke so much. It was a vast subject any which way. I think the audience benefited a lot in that area. And apart from agriculture, what we were looking at was the renewable energy. So in Sri Lanka, if you look at the coal power generation, I think there we have a little bit of a problem, because we are looking at saving US dollars, the outflow,
Yeah.
reducing or trying to minimize or to save dollars. So there I think we have a duty, not only by looking at the financial of the country or financial sustainability, but looking at the future generations too. Because in a country of our nature, where we are an island, we can produce, and we have sunlight right throughout, the 12 months, right,
Definitely.
without any problem. So there we have to look at getting into renewable energies. Of course, there we have to get investments. So that's something which even the president was talking of, that we would definitely, if you are going to get into sustainable energy sources, things like that, if you look at that, then we will need a lot of investments. We will need investors to come in and help us to have that technology, because there is a lot of technological advancement happening outside Sri Lanka, where we do not have access. We do not have access simply because we do not have the necessary financials, capabilities to handle it. So that's one area where we looked at in environment session. And then we had a session on social, where we were looking at equality, that is to treat everyone equal and to reduce discrimination. And the keynote was done by Ms. Azusa Kubota, resident representative of UNDP. She covered in the keynote as well as in the panel discussion. So the format went on with the keynote. All 4 sessions we had keynotes, and then we had the panel discussions and the Q&A, where the audience also could raise whatever the questions in areas where we did not quite touch upon, or perhaps if we have covered that, if they wanted to know in depth, they asked a couple of questions in that area. So there we covered justice and reducing poverty, all that aspect we were covering in the social area. So there was a lot of deliberations in that too. So the third session what we had was on the governance, where we are looking at now, when we look at the ESG per se, so we are looking at environment, social as well as governance. So governance is something that we have to bring into the table and into the boardrooms. So if you look at the sectors what we had participants from both private and public sector. So if you look at that, what we thought was we have to bring in governance or ESG into the boardroom. Wherever you make the decisions, strategic decisions, this has to be integrated. So ESG has to be an integral part of the decision making, because we have to act responsibly. So not sheer profit making per se. You will have to look at what impact you are making on the planet by doing so. That we are not exploiting whatever the resources we have, because we have to pass it down to the generations to come. So that's something where we look at there. And Dr. Harsha Cabral did the keynote speech in that session. And the final session we had was on the sustainable finance. There we had a keynote speaker from HSBC, Mr. Sunil Beatil. He's in Asia Pacific. Yes, Asia Pacific region. He's covering sustainability in that area and commercial banking, HSBC. So there we covered, we were looking at the instruments actually. What are the instruments available for investments, as well as how can we access those. So that was the area which we thought that people will be interested in, because we covered under E, S and G couple of areas we can get into, and then in sustainable finance we were trying to deliberate on as to how you could finance those, like looking at the green bonds and carbon neutral, and how to set off carbon credits, few things like that. So that was the format of the session, or the summit rather. I think the audience benefited immensely.
Yeah. So I will ask this question, feel free for both of you to answer. The MSME awards, what was the criteria like? What was the process like in order, because there was bronze, silver and gold. So we have our winner here in the studio. What was the process like, and what was the reason behind having this award ceremony included into the ESG summit?
So what we were thinking actually, it came from one of the team members actually, the concept that we should not only have the summit where we are looking at the technical stuff, but why don't we look at the practical aspect of it. So for us to look at the practical aspect, definitely we have to get to the field. We have to look at the companies or the corporates working out there who are practicing ESG, not merely as a reporting, but in their, it's in their DNA. So that's what we wanted to find out. So what we actually thought was, in this awards, we wanted to focus it on MSMEs, that is micro, small and medium companies, enterprises. That is why we call it MSME ESG Excellence Award. So that's the concept, and the name was also proposed by one of the team members. So it all came within. So it was by the team members. So they thought we should do it parallelly. So we set some couple of criterion, and then we had a good panel, again an eminent panel comprised of the professors from the University of Colombo, and then along with them we had our Ms. Shamila Kure sitting at the panel. So they evaluated all these. We got couple of, we got many applications, and then they went through the application. They went through their proposals or the reports, and then they picked few. I mean, they shortlisted, and then they had to do presentations at the university auditorium. Yes. If Suraj can add it, because he himself was present at that.
In front of university lecturers, professors, we had few presentations with shortlisted candidates, companies, and select the final winners. That was the procedure.
So it would have not been easy with the amount of applications coming
Yes.
in.
Correct, yes.
It was definitely be a tough task for us with the ESG summit actually. And adding to that, last couple of times, this was the third ESG summit for us, and previously we did art competitions with students of the schools.
Right.
Last couple of times we did with the students, and it was also successful. As Pavithra said, we need to do something practical with the ESG, like we are doing something to the audience in the corporate level. We are giving some knowledge to the audience. While doing it, we need to bring this into practice.
Definitely.
With that practice, we try to start with school students. Like we started with the art competition, then school children came and participated for the event, and they came and enjoyed the event as well. Students with the parents.
Yeah.
That's what we started. Now, this time we thought of doing some kind of a different thing with
Yeah.
the corporate level. So we are going to improve this in the next time, and we will have definitely be a
different
massive
concept
one
next
in
year.
the next time. That's our thought.
Right. So now, Aadhil, you
Yeah.
and your company,
Yes.
you all are standing as a winner.
Yes.
So with this award
Yeah.
that it is, as you see here, what do you all plan to achieve with this award in the future? How are you all going to utilize this moment of victory for the company, keeping that in mind and using it for the betterment of whatever you all do?
Certainly. So basically, this truly comes as a testament to the commitment towards sustainability. So definitely the future plan would be to advance further strategies to further strengthen the ESG principles that we perform on all aspects of our business operations, not just for us, but for the companies that we are partnered with. Because technically, like I said, by principle, we are a waste management company. So we do handle waste produced by other factories. So
Right.
it becomes a responsibility on us to educate the other factories on how to manage their waste properly so that it does not reach on to landfill. So if I might to add that we are the only zero waste to landfill certified company in Sri Lanka. The challenge we had as waste management company was, as opposed to a manufacturing facility who can go for a lot of accreditations because they manufacture a product. But for a company like us who is managing waste, how do we audit ourselves? How do we assess ourselves? So that's when bodies like this come into play, so that we are able to showcase the efforts that is put in and then get judged and get awarded for it. So initially the whole plan was to get a certification that we can take to places and tell, look, there's a lot of efforts that goes in at the ground levels. So that's when we decided to get this certification from Intertech, which is a US company formed by Thomas Edison. And they were surprised that a waste management company has approached them. So they didn't have a scope for us. They asked us, like, you do not produce waste. You are someone who's managing waste, which means you are reducing waste already. So we pushed them that we want to further reduce that we want to take a pledge that there's nothing going into the landfill. And I'm glad we got 99% of waste diversion rate, and we are the first of its kind to have a whole framework done separately just to assess us. And we won that award last year, which went in line with our celebrations. And then we thought, what are we going to do to the people who are working for us? The social aspect of it. So that's when we decided to go for a survey, and we went with great workplace to be in Sri Lanka, and we managed to get 96% positive response. And it took us by surprise, because they told us that we are not just great place to work, but actually best place to work when you come into the top 10 of the countries under medium sector, because we have only 150 workers currently working. So these things, boosts us or to go further onto this field, because it's a vast area and you can just keep improvising. So coming back to your question on what further goals or further improvements, definitely we have a plan in place to go carbon neutral in future, and also to seclude circularity. Waste circularity is something that is rising up a lot, that has been spoken in the Europe, and it is also something that is coming down to Sri Lanka. So we have already initiated our activities on it. So this will be a closed loop system operations. For Neptune, it's going to be more than waste managing to jump into the supply chain, because when it's a closed loop, you're part of the supply chain. So that's going to be a bigger jump for us. So we are trying to promote circular economy to the country, especially with the crisis that's happening at the moment. So we rebranded ourselves last year from Every Day is an Earth Day to driving Sri Lanka's circular economy. I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't know what circular economy is at the moment, but I'm sure by the time 3 to 5 years down the line, this will be a spoken topic. And
You
it will
mentioned
definitely.
that you want to jump into the supply chain.
Yes.
What is the goal of doing that? What happens after?
What happens is basically added responsibility, because it's not just a matter of collecting waste from someone and just disregarding it or disposing it in the right manner, but
Yeah.
to take up that added responsibility on you, because if you mess it up, the whole chain is going for 6. So you need to ensure that what you're delivering back to that production facility is at the level where the final product comes out with the right purpose. So that's something we want to challenge ourselves with, and
Yeah.
that's something already happening, not that it's not. But are we ready yet? I would say for a country like Sri Lanka, which adopts newer technologies, new innovations very easily, I think this is something we are geared up for.
Now, just want to briefly, if you could talk to us now, this issue of plastic is huge, and at the summit, the committee was quite adamant on not having anything plastic related because it's a huge issue. So, in terms of, let's take a step back. In terms of, if you were to advise the public in a very general perspective, how would you advise the public to go about the usage of plastic in our day-to-day lives?
See, there are various types of plastics, and you would be surprised if I tell you that most of the types of plastics are recyclable, as far as they're not contaminated or they're not bought in a state where it can't be recycled. So as a responsible citizen, I would suggest that people segregate their waste, which becomes easy for end processors like us to get it into a recycling level. But if you are going to contaminate it and you're just going to throw it away, where it becomes difficult for collection people like us to go and pick it up, that's when the whole challenge comes in. But if it was properly formulated and properly segregated and placed, then obviously I think it's a problem that can be mitigated.
All right, so it's time we head into our first break this evening. Remain with us and we will be back. All right, welcome back to the show this evening, and we are on this week's edition of the Spotlight talking about all things sustainable here in Sri Lanka. And it is important that we do our part, at least take tiny steps in doing our part to bring Sri Lanka to where it needs to be. All right, so Suraj, now as a president of the Colombo University's MBA Alumni Association, what other plans do you have for the future?
In terms of future plans, you're asking about the association plans, right?
Yes, and what types of engagement do we hope to see?
Yeah. As an association, we are planning few conferences. You know, there are 2 types of events we are doing. One is conferences, summits, and on the other hand, as I said earlier, we are doing some kind of networking events, member engagement events. When it comes to member engagement events, we have 2 events. One is MBA night, you may have heard about, because we have been doing MBA night I think for a long time. And also we have another event called Cricket Kurumba, Kuru MBA.
Right.
We brand it as Kuru MBA Kurumba.
Okay.
It's a different kind of a brand name. We have been doing this Kuru MBA Kurumba cricket tournament since last 2 years. It was very successful. We engaged with the university, not only the academic staff, not only the students, we engaged with non-academic staff as well. At the first event, there were only few teams, but when it comes to the last event, there were more than 10 teams participated for the event. Over 150 audience were there, and it was a very successful event in terms of member engagement. When it comes to the MBA night, that will be happening in next February. It's a kind of a evening session for all our members. These are member exclusive events targeting all our members, not for the public, right? In that case, all our members can participate, and with lot of fun, a lot of music, food, and everything will be there. People can spend their time over midnight. This will be a funful event, engagement event for our members. 2 events. And secondly, I'm talking about 2 major events, conferences like ESG. One is a digital summit that will be on in next January or February, digital summit, and another event called economic summit that will be in definitely next November. We are planning these 2 summits, and our teams are working. There are few teams, subcommittees, they are working towards the success of these 2 projects like ESG, what Pavithra did successfully last time. And apart from all these summits, you may have heard about budget forums, post-budget and pre-budget forums. We have experience of doing post-budget and pre-budget forums. We started our post-budget forum in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. It's more than 10 years ago, not 10 years, 11 years ago. Pre-budget forum is something we do before the budget, government budget presenting to the parliament. It's a closed door forum. All the government sector, including the Secretary to Treasury, Finance Minister, representatives from the central bank and government officials come together, and we invite corporate sector leaders. Last couple of times we invited corporate sector from different corporates. One time we invited women entrepreneurs to give their opinions, give their budget proposals to the budget, Sri Lankan budget. They incorporate our proposals to the budget, Sri Lankan budget. That is the whole objective of this closed door budget pre-budget forum. After the pre-budget forum, soon after presenting the budget to the parliament, we have the post-budget forum. That would be happening 1 or 2 days after the 2 days after presenting the budget to the parliament. It's kind of dissecting the budget with say the same people, Secretary to Treasury, Finance Minister, as well as the central bank governor and government key representatives, with the industry leaders and some of the experts in the financial sector, tax experts. They are coming and dissect the budget proposals, and we ensure that they have incorporated with our proposals and how it's get impacted to the corporate levels, how the tax proposals are going on. Likewise, we dissect all the budget proposals within a half-day session. We are expecting usually more than 500 people, usually 400-500 people are participating for this event. This is also a successful event in our calendar. Apart from that, we are doing another kind of management conferences. One conference is a knock-knock conference we did 2 years ago. We are planning to continue this kind of conference in future as well. The theme was unlocking opportunities.
Okay.
We invited few sectors like fishery, tourism like sectors, and discuss about their matters and the opportunities. It was a full day conference. Likewise, we are doing this kind of conferences, summits to the public. These are the things what we are planning right now. In future, we believe that we will be able to make these forums in a best way with our team members, with our committees.
Definitely. I would pose this question to Suraj and to Pavithra both. You can, add in any points as if you feel like. Now, this MBA program, it's now in terms of education, this plays also a huge role in any country moving forward. And the two of you are also industry experts. I was told not to mention it because you all are representing the association today, but you all come from high corporate backgrounds as well. This master's program, do you think students are sort of willing to take education forward in terms of applying for masters, or do you see a reduction of it in throughout your workplaces?
When it comes to the workplaces, the people are start studying MBAs, DBAs. There is a tendency to learning this kind of programs, because when it comes to our MBA Colombo MBA programs, there are a lot of programs there. MBA General, MBA in Finance, MBA in Marketing, MBA in HR, MBA in International Business, EMBA. There are a lot of programs. So likewise, these programs are categorized because of there is a demand. The people are asking these kind of programs. Initially, it was very small category of programs, but now there are a lot of categories. The people are demanding.
Yeah.
There is a demand for these programs. When it comes to the number of people, the age categories of the people who are coming to these interviews, MBA interviews, because we are participating for MBA selection interviews as well, the young crowd is participating just after completing their bachelor's degree. They are coming for MBA because they want to learn something. They want to gather this knowledge and get the experience with MBA. Likewise, there is a demand, I believe that. Not only the MBA, they want to go beyond that. BA, PhD level as well.
In your opinion, Pavithra, what do you see in your area of work?
I'm from finance domain.
Yeah.
So what I completely agree with what Suraj said. So now we see a tendency towards, younger generation are more keen on getting all these, going through the MBAs and as well as DBAs, and also, up to the PhD levels. We see that tendency. So that's actually where we should head, even as a country. I mean, we actually should invest much more on education rather than anything, whether it be government funded education or private education. Irrespective of that, I think that's where we will see our future if you really invest in that. So that's the whole purpose why we are also engaging in knowledge sharing and providing platforms for people to get knowledge and to create awareness. So even these summits and conferences what Suraj mentioned are something similar to that, where we are trying to go beyond the classroom and to give knowledge as to what is happening out there in the world. And to gain knowledge and to share knowledge. It's not just that the experts can share their insights, but it's just that there are practical people out there in the marketplace, in the commercial sector, where they can also relate to it. So we would learn from the books, and you can learn from the practical aspect of it, where people share their insights and their experiences. So I think all in all, education is a must, and we should invest much more in that area. Yes.
Your thoughts?
Well, I would say I have personal experience with the companies that I already work with. Obviously, they're large conglomerates, and if I were to say, I mean, back in the days, you wouldn't allocate people for environmental purposes, but with trending strategies like ESG principles, a lot of corporates are actually committing towards it and adapting towards it. So they just can't expect the same crowd to work for it. So there's prominence, there is availability for students to join for that purposes. So there's lot that's happening. Like you would find an environmental manager, which was not in the case in the previous history. But now you have environmental managers, you have people working for sustainability teams, audited for sustainability and waste reductions and Higg index. A lot of things are happening. So the companies that we work with actually touch with us on those concepts. So this is a growing field, and students also, I think, should not just be on the look for things that have already been in the market, but the growing ones as well.
In terms of now, since we're talking about sustainability, does the University of Colombo, do you all offer programs related to that in terms of, going green? Because I think even at the summit, some people were mentioning that this area, thanks to bodies like the Alumni Association, you all are pushing it forward. Do you all think in the future maybe there will be programs offered in terms of sustainability, going green, and things like that?
Yeah, when it comes to the university, Vice Chancellor mentioned that they are working towards sustainability. even the faculties, each and every faculty, they were informed that they have to adhere to these sustainability goals. That's the university, that is what university communicated to the faculties,
Yeah.
right? In that case, I believe that university is going towards sustainability. They have separate programs. We have the university professors, lecturers in terms of sustainability. Recently, we got an opportunity to discuss with some of the big companies in terms of sustainability. They are looking for some kind of a connection with some universities in Sri Lanka. In that case, we connect our university with these companies. Now we are discussing how they can connect each other. We are trying to connect the bridge between the university and these companies and get the maximum benefit for both the parties. University can act as the academic partner of these corporates, and the corporates can also help to the university in terms of financial, in terms of some other equipment or any kind of support they can give to the university. University can give their knowledge in terms of sustainability. Those kind of involvements we have with the university, and university is very keen on sustainability, I believe, because they have separate sections.
Pavithra, do you plan on continuing to be the chair for next year's summit as well?
That I'm
Yet to find out.
Yet
I
to
need
find
to add
out,
something
yes.
to that, because
Yeah.
Pavithra did a very good job in terms of chairing this project. The people are requesting Pavithra for the next summit as well.
I don't
Not
doubt
only
that
this
actually.
summit, for the other summits as well.
So I think I should intervene there, because it's not just one person. It was
Of
a
course.
huge team behind the success, or from the planning stage. So there was a big, brilliant team, fantastic team behind the show. You would just see me as the chair, but then there was my co-chair Prabhat, and then there was huge crowd out there who really made an impact. And there were a lot of long hours in planning, and there were unwavering support. So finally we made it. That's how we look at it. Yes.
Yeah, I also thank our team led by Pavithra, Prabhat, Chamila. Chamila led the MSME award ceremony, and all the other team members, all the past president who supported for this event, and all the sponsors, all the partners for this event. Without them, we can't have this event. So we should appreciate their support, and we are trying to improve this relationship with them and have a better event in next year as well.
Now that the event has come to an end for this year, what sort of response did you hear, Pavithra, from your peers and from the participants and from the panelists and moderators?
When you look at an event per se, we are looking at a review. When you look at a review, you would see the good and the bad and maybe the ugly also. So what we are looking at right now, we are getting really good feedback. But internally, we are looking at what went wrong. That's what we are looking at internally, because we are looking at improvement. We need to keep on improving and to continue the event in the sense to a greater success. That's what we are looking at. So we are hearing a lot of good feedback actually from the peers, from the participants, from the partner companies,
From the panelists.
from the panelists. So it's really good. So what internally we are looking at, okay, what we could have done better, what are the improvements we can do.
Yeah.
So there we are looking at not only for the ESG summit, but then for the other events to come, what Suraj just mentioned, what is in the calendar, event calendar. So that's how we would look at it. And at the end of the day, it's a lot of teamwork. So it's a lot of good feedback, and we are really happy. We have a lot of satisfaction, I would say.
As you participated at the summit, Aadhil, what were your thoughts on the summit? As keeping being a winner aside,
Yes.
as what did you feel about it?
Like I mentioned previously, I think the appreciation needs to be extended for actually choosing a topic like that in the first place, and also to creating that platform for corporates and companies like us to come and participate, and also to create that network, and to have high profile visitors at the event, so that we go across the country, so that awareness is automatically created. So I think we shouldn't just stop here. I think we should go global, maybe have events even outside Sri Lanka, why not, because that's the kind of team I'm sure the alumni has behind it. And also also the corporates, it's a competitive field, but also we should keep ESG always in our mind, that you are going in a competitive world with your concern towards environment. So that's pretty much it.
Wonderful. So Pavithra, what would be your parting message to all of us watching us today? Some closing remarks.
Well, in terms of the event, if you want me to say something, I think ESG is something where when you commit yourself and when you work towards that summit, I felt more responsible towards the topic per se. Like, it's not just another topic, where you are looking at something which you can just talk on a particular day and forget about it. But then what we thought we were doing was that we create that platform, what you just mentioned, so that you could have that debate, the dialogue and the deliberation. And the best part out of that is some of the keynote speakers said that we would take it forward with some of the assignments, and they have already written to us, some of the keynote speakers, as to how we could keep on engaging. So the engagement is still there. So the summit is over, true, but then we would keep on engaging as to what we can, how we can contribute, and what we can exactly do out there to make it a better place. So I think that's what is important. We have to just act responsibly.
It just doesn't stop at the summit.
That's
it's a work that comes after it. That's when the real work starts. The summit is the spark that ignites that change. What would be your parting message as a president of the association?
Ultimately, adding to Pavithra, we'll be having a retrospective in terms of the event, because with our partners, all the participants, not all the participants, some of our participants and our committee members, we get together and have a session and discuss about the improvements, because we are getting a lot of good feedback. We need good feedback, but we need the bad feedback as well. So for our improvements, constructive criticism, the purpose of improving the future events, because as you see the future calendar, there will be more events. To improve these events, we need this feedback. My final remark would be, so as an association, we will have good events in future. Please keep in touch with us, and if you have a time, please come and join with us in our future events. Thank you. And also thank you, Marilla, for inviting us.
The pleasure was mine. So wishing the three of you nothing but the best, and wishing all of you nothing but the best in everything that you all have to continue. I believe your work is actually going to start after this. So thank you for joining us in our studios today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
That being said, we come to the end of yet another edition of the Spotlight. Join us again next week for a story that will ignite change. Until we meet again, stay safe.